I'm Becky Fawcett. If you read my bio, there's a whole bunch of things that it says I am. But these days, I'm just Jane and Brooke's mom. That's the most important thing you need to know about me, I think. The intro to my podcast is different every time I do it. I don't really like those rule books that say I have to do it the same way, the same time, every whatever. So today, I'm just a mom. And I used to be perfect. At least I thought I was, tried to be. I think what we're going to talk about today with my friend Danuta is allowing yourself to be imperfect and taking care of yourself in a very special way. And when I tried to have kids, that was the big eye-opener to me and the rest of the world, that I was clearly not perfect. But that's the plot twist in my story, and that's when my story got good. So now I look for every opportunity to be different. I'm an outspoken advocate who wants to change the world. And this sometimes gets me into trouble, but for the most part, it helps me make real connections with real people. Welcome to my podcast, The Fawcett Report. I'm so glad you're here. And today we are sitting down with my friend Danuta, God, I met you
22 years ago.
22 years ago. Okay, so you did the math. 22 years ago, I was a publicist.
Yes.
And you were starting your dream, not knowing how this was going to turn out, right? And that's how I met you. And the joke that we all laugh about is that you did not hire me as your publicist. And maybe that was the reason that here we are 22 years later, friends in awe of each other's work and supportive of each other in our work and cheering each other on. And I think that's how it was probably meant to be. Really great.
You definitely came as a client.
I've come as a client, absolutely, because you're the gold standard in Philadelphia and New York. This is an empire, and now you have DANUCERA, and you're opening internationally another spa soon. And we're going to talk about it, but there's so many great things about you, and you have one of the best founder stories ever, in my opinion, having been a publicist with founders. So welcome.
Welcome. It's a pleasure. It's like full circle.
It is full circle. And that's what the Fawcett Report is. It's like all the things I love in my life, but all roads lead to Help Us Adopt. And that is our friendship over these years. And here we are. But I'm going to go back to your founder story of how you tell everybody where you're from and how you arrived in the United States and what was in your pocket.
I'm Danuta Mieloch, and I arrived in US in 1989, basically with $20 in my pocket, a big dream. I'm an esthetician by trade in Poland, where you train alongside doctors. So you have nurse degree. Polish aesthetics is a little bit more upgraded than the training we get here in the US. But of course, I had no English and I had to start somewhere. So second day, I started working as a waitress and serving coffee and flipping pancakes on the Lower East Side and learning English on F-train.
Oh my gosh.
Twins. It was a 45-minute ride to downtown Manhattan, and that was my life. But obviously, everything was exciting. So to me, being in New York at the beginning, I knew this is my place. I loved it. I loved the energy. I loved everything, and I embraced everything. And my quickest thing was like how soon I can start working in my own field, because taking care of skin has always been my dream. When the girls were playing with toys, I had my little apothecary as a girl.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought I am going to develop elixir of youth.
Oh my gosh, which you've
But
done.
here we are, many years forward. And from these humble beginnings, I got my certificate. I worked in various places in New York. And then I opened in Philadelphia 22 years ago.
And why Philly? That's my hometown. That's like how we connected. Why Philly first?
The equation was much better, finding a better rent and like literally a zero competition.
Yeah, well, that's a very smart business move now, isn't it?
Yes. At that time. But, on the other hand, I also had a hard time hiring people because there is no previous experience. So I basically started from the scratch. And you probably remember I had 4 employees to begin with, but I had a space to fill in and I knew how to give the best facials. So my biggest thing was mentoring and teaching and showing my techniques and sharing my techniques. And in today's world, some people will admit, some not, but there's hundreds, if not thousands of estheticians that are inspired by my work.
You know, it's
And I'm
so
proud of
interesting.
that. And I'm
Yeah.
proud of that. I mean,
Seriously. I tell people when they come to work for me, I say, here's the deal. I tell them this in the interview process. I said, I'm not interested in good. I'm only interested in great. So, first of all, if you want to be good in your job, please don't keep going in this interview process. If you're interested in being great, I'll make you great because I think you already have the bones to do it. But I have a superpower, and that's my superpower. And I hope you stay with me forever. But if for whatever reason you don't, you're going to remember that I helped you become the greatest version of yourself. Like, that's my thing. And I've had people, employees over the years, send me emails 5 and 10 years later, because I've been doing this for 19 now, and say, I have my job now because of you. I watched you do it. I learned from you how to do this. And I think, especially as a boss, but especially as a female boss, this is one of the more important things that I think people should just put in their book of tricks.
I think raising a bar, and that's on many levels. For me, even if I'm cooking, I want the best meal.
I'm not cooking. We all know that. So I'll come over and eat the meal you're cooking.
I
That's
do.
great.
So for me, like, how can we do better? How can we live better on many levels?
Yeah.
Because by living better, obviously our skin is going to look better.
Yeah.
And we were just talking, we started this conversation when you said you had like a few stressful moments last weekend. And I said, I think if we just soften.
Yeah.
Because as like the type A boss kind of type personalities, if we just soften with ourselves, that's always a reminder for me to truly look at the bright side, not always trying to fight.
Exactly. No, exactly.
to
It's really
achieve.
important to remember that you don't have to be on 24/7. You can
Yeah.
say, I'll see you Monday.
Yes,
I
and
don't
if
think
you
yesterday.
soften, the better ideas are coming.
And
So you just
yesterday, I had an
better.
out of town friend who we were maybe going to meet for drinks at 5 on a Sunday. And she was like, I can't, because she was here for work. She's, I'm so sorry. Next trip. And I almost texted back to her. It was 2:30. That's fine because I'm still in my pajamas. And I just didn't text back, but that was fine. I was still in my pajamas. Like, I took yesterday off in so many ways. And when I had to walk the dogs, we share that in common, our love of animals. I just put on a big coat and I'm like, I'm going out in my pajamas. No one's going to know.
It's totally fine in New York.
Totally fine. What I wanted to say is this, tell everybody. So, gosh, I think it was last year we met for a drink and we sat in ABC Kitchen. And what did we look at sitting in that front window bar? And what did you tell me? Because I almost fell off my stool when you told me the story.
Well, we were sitting in the window, and that's where I was sitting in that window 8 years ago, and I saw a store for rent in New York, and the rest is history. I called the landlord, and
Guys, if you're sitting in this window, you are looking into Rescue Spa, New York, like across the street, directly in the front window.
yeah, and I was always intimidated about going about how to find a space in New York. The real estate in New York is daunting, as we know.
Yeah.
So this sort of fell on my lap, and 8 years later, we've been voted the best spa in New York City multiple times, and it's definitely a destination for the best facials.
One of the things I want to talk about for those who have not been to your New York City location, and I've been there more frequently now because I live here than Philly. I haven't been to Philly recently, but I tell people if they haven't been to you that number one, the service is tremendous. That's hands down. But I tell people that you have created one of the most beautiful retail spaces. And I'm a tough critic. We all know that. I have like very high standards. Your space is so gorgeous the minute you walk in. Like, I'm just in awe. But that's you as a businesswoman. Like, you put time into details that I think other people would have forgotten about because the space isn't giving you a facial. Those are the facial rooms. But like, you put a lot of time into that space. So the minute you walk in, it's the experience. Tell us about why that was so important to you.
Aside from beauty, I love design, I love fashion. These are a feel good factors for coming from Poland, which I grew up with very little. in those times, but I always managed to make things more beautiful. So for me, the vase of flowers, even if I had to go to the garden and pick up those flowers and make things prettier, it was super important. And we really don't have that much input what's going on outside, but we can all take care of our immediate surroundings. Growing up with like Polish mom, this is what you do. You make your bed, you clean your face. If you don't clean your face, you aging 7 days.
Oh God, I didn't.
You're aging 7 days just by not cleaning your face.
Last
So
Thursday
things
was
that-
our gala, and I got home at like midnight, and I literally I face planted, and I didn't wash my face, and I
Oh,
could have heard you
no,
going,
don't tell me
Becky,
this.
Becky. I was so tired. 7 days I've taken off by not washing my face.
Exactly. So you grow up with this, and some of it is great, some of it not so great. Mom knows the best in this situation, but I owe a lot to this because I feel like we move in the world and we forget about our history, where we come from, who was our parents and grandparents and so forth, and what they had to go through for us to be here and so on, and how we can pass better tools for next generation, right? So that's my always a thing. So I love beautiful spaces, going back to the space. I love beautiful things. And it's a collection of things that I really love in a store. So the brands. I was one of the legacy partners that I brought some of these brands and made them popular in US, like Biologique Recherche, Medical Beauty Research, MBR, Valmont. I merged them in one space. So if you see ever like a spa that has Biologique Recherche, Valmont, and MBR, I was the first one to get them all in one place.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And that's sometimes when you're the leader, other people copy the way they can.
That's fine.
It's part of it, that's right? It's part of it. It's-
He's great.
but no one can be you. You're the secret sauce. Like no one. I always tell people.
Well, no one can give a facial like me.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I have been the lucky. I booked a facial, and all of a sudden I'm like, it's not with you, is it? And you're like, oh, it is now. I mean, it's amazing. So I want to talk about, before I get to your product that is just so amazing, your personal product, I want to talk about what it means to expand to Poland, because I've been watching this on social media. It's been a long time coming, and the build out and the design has been a long time, and it is gorgeous. Like, what does this mean to you? What does this mean to your family and your legacy to go back home after coming here with $20 in your pocket? I mean, you're going home big. This is a big deal.
I think as an immigrant, there is like a phenomena that is going on. People will ask me where I'm from here, you know,
I'm down
and
the
then,
street,
and then when I'm there, I don't quite fit in there. So you choose this sort of like a unique space where you are. And I love America. I love what this country gave me. And I'm not planning to move to Poland. But the idea that what I learned in my journey in the last 30 something years being in the US, I want to bring this back to Poland to make this full circle.
Yeah.
Because taking care of your skin for me was practically inherited in Poland. But then with the way the journey is, I don't think there is that many great facial places there. So to bring my techniques, which I hone traveling, learning from the best in Paris, collecting all the data and bringing that back there with the design and the aesthetic, but also it's absolutely incredible. It feels like homecoming
It's so exciting.
in a different way.
It's so exciting. I'm so happy for you. It's just, and I can't wait to see the final, when you do a launch video of the opening and walk everybody through it. It's going to be amazing. All right, I have one more question before we get to the product. When you got here with $20 in your pocket and you're flipping pancakes and pouring coffee and you had this dream, how many people told you were crazy? How many people told you it would never happen? And how did you, for those listening who have a dream, how did you tune that out and say, it will, just give me some time?
I don't think I had that dream right away.
No,
I
okay.
think it was a strategy. I think everything for me sort of happens organically. I always had a dream helping people in the best capacity I can, because I see skin first, helping people to get the best skin ever. And by having this passion, it's everything fall into place. So I don't think you have to see right away the big picture. I would love to. And sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think big and see the big picture. But I think life is about first steps
Yeah.
and small steps. So it's switching from flipping pancakes to getting my diploma and start doing facials and working with the best and so forth, and opening my own business and having 4 employees, and now I have 180 employees. So
My
growing
gosh.
organically, growing naturally, I think it's the best way. And this is how I look at skin as well. You don't get good skin just right away with a quick fix. You
It's
need
interesting.
it's
My people ask me, they're like, "What was the dream of starting a nonprofit?" I go, "Oh my god, it wasn't even on the radar screen." In fact, if you'd gone back and told even the 30-year-old Becky Fawcett, "You're going to do this," I would have been like, "You are out of your mind. I'm not going to do that. There's no way. How would I do that?" But listening to you, I sold advertising, which is not really in magazines, which is not really known as like compassionate people sell advertising, but I was different. So if I met with someone and they're like telling me what they want the ad to do, I'd be like, I don't think this is going to work for you. Keep your money, go on vacation, do something. And I would tell them not to do the ad, which they'd end up buying anyway because they're like, man, we love you. So whatever. But I was different. And then when I was a publicist, same sort of thing. They'd be like, I want to hire you because I want to be on the cover of Time magazine. I'm like, that's not going to happen. What have you done to get? And I always wanted to help and just make things better for people and solve their problems. And as it evolved, I remember being like, I really want to be remembered as someone great. I don't know how that's going to be. I didn't know, but that was like the inner thing. And then I fell into adopting. And I was like, this is how I'm going to do it. But I'd always cared in a different way for jobs. Publicists are not known for having a heart. In fact, they're usually not great people, publicists.
I was at one of your events. I had that privilege last year to be at one of your events, and the joy of these mothers with the babies because
Mhm.
they came, it's so heartwarming.
It's great.
It's
Yeah.
so special. So the work you do, it's so special, but also it's like evolving. We
Mhm.
constantly evolve as people. So
Mhm.
this is how my business evolved. I evolved with the business. And I think the important part is I respond to progress, or I don't want to stand still. I want to continue to grow spiritually, to continue to work on myself to be better as human beings. I think this is what gives me actually energy to keep going. It's that progress.
Now, for those of you who don't know, in addition to all these amazing things you've already heard, you created this hero skincare line. When did this start to come into your mind as something's missing? I think I could do this. And when did that start to float around in space?
I was surrounded by all this luxury skincare, and it wasn't that I was missing many things, but it was too many things. So I wanted to bring it to the base level, to fundamentals. So that's my strength is I grew up with mom that used one cream for everything. She would mix the mask out of the cream and so forth. So I wanted to start creating that cream, but it's more current, that it's no perfumes, that anybody can use it. A pregnant woman can use it, anybody who's going through medical treatment, any age. And that product became, the name is Cera Balm. Cera in Polish means complexion, and it's a complexion balm, basically. This product was something that was missing elsewhere. As an esthetician, I didn't want to have thousands and thousands of products because the chance of irritating the skin is much bigger. I call it so I wanted to create like a system and ritual, and that's Danucera is about that. It's about encouraging women to not go to bed with makeup on. Do your
So
double
tell
double
everybody,
cleanse.
tell everybody how it is a cleanser and then a moisturizer as well and a glow. And I'm going to add one more thing on because for those listening, it was Sally's comment. I think I saw a post over the weekend and it was talking about how everyone can use this product. And she said that her niece, I think, has acne skin and uses it. And Sally, has terribly dry skin and more mature skin and she uses it. And I think that is very interesting because I don't think a lot of products you would tell someone I don't think you would tell them to use the same thing. And I want people to know about that because that's very cool. It's very cool. Sometimes you go and they're like, you need these 18 products. I'm like, I will have to quit my job to have enough time in the day to put 18 products on my face. Like, how can we streamline this? And you did it.
So cleansing is so fundamental. It starts the first after we're born, we're getting cleansed. So for me, when I thought about this product, the creation of it was important. What kind of ingredients are in it? So it contains meadow foam oil, which corresponds with our own sebum, the best in the nature. So it doesn't need too many preservatives. So it's sustainable. It maintains sea buckthorn oil. So it's ingredient which is great for inflamed, oily skin. So I thought of all the ingredients, how important they are, and how can they correspond with our skin, help us cleanse, but not overstrip. So whatever it's on your skin stays because we don't want to constantly strip the skin. We want to keep the goodies. We have the best anti-aging in us. Our circulation, it's full of our growth factors. Our own oils are the best anti-agers. So you want to maintain that while assisting, right?
Because
So
you've
you
often
assist with
said
cleansing.
that it's a mistake to like over scrub your face with an
Yes.
exfoliant. And I think that many of us probably have done this at one point or another.
Yeah,
Like,
but then it's important to do it still.
yeah,
So it's like finding that balance, how much exfoliation we need
it's not
versus
supposed to be sandpaper on your face. Like
no.
that.
Mm.
It's called Sarah Gold,
Well, the exfoli gold.
Exfoli Gold. First time I used that, I'm like, is there enough in here? And then I heard you in my back of my head saying, do not over exfoliate, Becky.
Yeah, and also the exfoli gold is almost like a mask as well because it's
Mhm.
a triple exfoliation. It's enzymatic, it's granules and probiotics. So it's all what skin needs. You leave it on the skin. For me, technique is very important. How I double cleanse with a washcloth, the way we apply toner. I've been called the queen of tonic. So I developed this unique technique, how it's kind of lifting, firming. So it removes all the buildup, but leaving your skin nicely invigorated.
Yeah. I grew
So
up in the days of sea breeze. Remember? God, the stuff we put on our face. Oh my gosh. We're lucky we're still standing, but
yeah, that's the original toner.
I know the original toner in the 80s, early
Yeah.
80s. Is there anything else you would like to tell us about your product line? And do you want to walk us through like the quick what you tell people to do? Or if you can only, you look at
Yeah,
the
so
list and you can only buy one, what should they buy type thing?
if it's one, it's CeraVe. But for me, skincare about this few non-negotiables. And there is a myth that, for example, serum can replace a cream, cream can replace a serum,
Mm,
or a serum can replace a toner. So let's get that straight.
okay.
They are different and they have different purposes. So cleanser serves as the removal of the dead skin cells, dirt, grime, all of that. It preps the skin. It should not be overstripping. Toner helps to balance the skin, gently exfoliates, so preps the skin for the next step. The next step will be a serum. Serum is usually more water-based, lighter texture, but more powerful antioxidants like vitamin C. My serum has an niacinamide and a triple peptide, so it's firming. So the mega serum is super cool. It's firming, it's anti-aging. You apply that next. And to seal the serum, you need a little bit of moisturizer. Without moisturizer, the serum is going to evaporate quickly. So
I didn't know that.
oh,
That's
yeah. So
fascinating.
it's like a step because if you only put watery substance on your skin, evaporates quickly. You know how in the winter it's
Interesting.
kind of
Yeah.
cold to your skin. So for those people who have drier skin types, they have to really apply moisturizer. So these are really non-negotiable steps, and of course, eye cream. Okay, this is a fundamental baseline. So once you get that down, so I say take 5 minutes, do your 5 steps. You are super successful. Are you maximalist and have those 18 steps? Fantastic. Load them
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
If you're minimalist, you still have to do those steps, right? So it works for maximalist, minimalist, younger person, older person. These are like fundamentals. So that's how it works across. And with techniques, it creates a difference.
I can only imagine what your bathroom looks like.
Oh, very organized.
Yeah.
Very organized. I practice what I preach. I don't like too much makeup. I don't like too much mess because I like to keep what's fresh. People
Mhm.
don't pay attention about expiration dates in makeup. The open foundation or something is there for 3 years, and
Yeah.
I realize it's been 3 years.
And let's
That
talk
might be
about that.
damaging your skin.
Some people
Yeah.
think that when makeup people tell you and skincare that you should throw it away after that you're just trying to get them to buy more. But there really is a reason why you should not put 3-year-old
I,
stuff
I
on
I
your
would
face.
say the rule of thumb, some like mascara 6 months maximum, 3 to 6 months, because it's around the eyes. You don't want any stories around the eyes. But eyeshadows, maybe to 2 years. But I would say 2 years is a maximum for anything open.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
already put your hands in it
Mm.
or brushes or whatever. It's open to air. So 2 years a maximum, but it's usually 12 months.
Yeah. It's
12
interesting.
months is opening. It's the case. That's why try not to have buffet. Whatever you have, use it.
Yeah.
And if you love something, go back and buy again. If
Yeah.
you don't, forget about it.
Yeah. Look for something new. Now, I think on Instagram, which has become just a source for all these newfangled things, sometimes the newfangled aren't always the greatest. But how do you feel about all this tech stuff in the beauty business and going back to basics? And
Yeah, I've always been with technology because I used electric currents 22 years ago, and I was the first one to use LED. So technology is really great. Technology is not going to replace the hands,
right.
not going to replace the human touch, and it's not going to replace what you do at home.
It's not going to
Okay?
wash your face
You
for
can
you. That's the
exactly.
classic.
You can put that LED lamp as much as you like, but if your skin has a texture, you haven't exfoliated, you haven't cleansed properly, you haven't moisturized, it's not gonna do much. Okay. So
Interesting.
fundamentals first, and then have fun with your LED lamp. The electric gadgets at home, I like you have to know how to use it. Don't tug on the skin, don't pull on the
Yeah.
skin.
And I think some of this technology is terrific, as you say, but it's very expensive. And then you are like, oh, I found this cheap version of it, but this the cheap version, it's not the same. So it's, yeah, say that's the problem.
Anything home use is going to be lighter than
Mhm.
professionally
Yeah.
used. When it comes to professionally, like I can give the best facial, but I cannot give the best facial to myself.
Right.
I still go in and get a facial from someone else because it's a whole other experience when somebody touches your skin for an hour with 55
Mhm.
muscles, and that stimulation, that relaxation that you get from even facial massage and equipment will be amazing.
That's fascinating. So is it nerve-wracking whoever has to give you a facial?
I think not necessarily because they all been trained.
There
I
you
always
go.
say I've held all of my estheticians, I've held their hands.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. It's so fun. It's so fun. Now,
Yeah.
the next thing is the whole term anti-aging. And I always sit here at that. Yeah, I don't think any of us want to not look our best. And I don't think any of us want to look like the old wrinkled woman in the corner. But it's a privilege to grow old, number one, is what I always say. You do age. It's a fact. So, how do you change that narrative to embrace what is actually happening to all of us every single day and help people focus on the positives and bring out the best in them?
Yeah, so I think every single day we wake up and we are new. That's how I look at it. Because you're having a new perspective on a day, and it's up to you how you're going to go about your day. So, my story is if you take care of yourself, if you take care of your skin, if you take care of your body, if you watch what you're putting in your body that day and do something good for you, you're going to feel better. When you feel better, you spread and give better energy, right? So for me, I never look at a woman's age so much. I look at her energy when it comes to women. And if her energy is up and she keeps going, my mom is 91. When I check in with her, I actually didn't have a time to call her this Sunday. And I talked to my brother, and he goes, "Oh, her energy is so good." And this is where we are at this point. If her energy is good, her mind is clear, she's in good place, then it's good. So I think we have to constantly work on that. And I think we need to also embrace the fact that older women are desirable.
Oh my God. And we know things.
Oh,
Not that I'm
yeah.
91, not 91,
And
around the corner probably,
I
but like
said,
the
yeah,
experience.
I said older women are delicious and we have so much to share and so much to pass on. And I think it's magical. So,
For me, I can only speak about myself, but I'm a month away from turning 56. And I think I'm so much better in every single way than I was when I'm 30.
yeah,
I just do. And
look great.
someone might be listening to this going, "You're not," but that's your opinion. But I feel better in every way. And for me, part of that's my kids. Like becoming a mom, I think that was very stressful for me. And so I look back on some of those pictures. I'm like, I don't look good because I wasn't good. I wasn't complete. I wasn't whole. But it is interesting, older and wiser, to think I'm just getting started because I've been building my experience and now I have a great vision on the world type thing.
And so much to give. So for example, I can't imagine not working,
Oh, me neither.
not making a difference, sharing that passion and building. For me, this is always the most important thing. When I think about, there are some employees with me that I've met them when they were 20 something. They got married, had kids, built a home, all while I was watching. I think this is the best reward
Well,
for
and
what I
that's also
do.
it is you have provided a place for them to not only work in a job that they love, but
Yeah.
you have created something that provides an income for many people for many years. And that is quite a feat. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. And your employees know they can count on you, which you can't
Oh,
always
yes.
count on your
Yeah.
employer these days. Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't work and they don't have the money. But I think that's a really important fact to acknowledge for some female founders is it's not just what they created, the entity. It's the fact that other people rely on this organization or business to put a roof over their head and get insurance and all these things. And that's quite an accomplishment. In addition to the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
It's great. I didn't know you had 180 employees. That's a lot.
I know it accumulated over the years. I feel very good about it. It's a priority for me. So if I don't want to wake up in the morning, I think of them as like I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, that's what I tell
Keep going.
people is
I have to continue to do what I like to do, and it's the biggest motivator.
I tell people the same thing, except with our grant recipient families. I'm like, when I don't want to get out of bed in the morning, or I am tired and want to leave the office, or not taken one last meeting could bring the next kid home. And that's why I keep going. I'm like, I can be tired. It's okay. I can be tired. This is what I'm good at, and the effort pays off. So if someone is listening to this and says, okay, I either live in Philadelphia, New York, or Poland, or I'm going to visit one of those three spots, I want to go to Rescue and see this space for myself and get one of these facials. I don't know when I look at your menu what exactly I need. So how does one go about that if you have no idea what you need?
So there are many choices. You can always start with the very basic one, and it's guaranteed to reset your skin. It's the Rescue Facial one. But I always suggest the Nucera Sculpt and Lift. This is our latest edition, but it's extremely successful, and it's where all the knowledge of the 22 years goes into it. And we're using our products, so there are no fragrance in fashion of clean beauty, but they are very active and very effective. The lifting method that we use in the lifting massage, electric currents, LED. So you have the technology, you have the product, you have techniques, hands, and magic. That's how you get the glow. It's the glow giving facial.
It's the glow. I mean, I have been on your table and it is pretty amazing when you walk out of there with no makeup on and no nothing. You look okay.
That's the goal. We sometimes forget how much we have. And it's just we need a little bit more stimulation, which is facial provides that, you
No,
know.
it's terrific. Let's talk about quickly, do you have some favorite products that are not your own?
Definitely. For longest time, I was the biggest fan of biologique research, but I was a purist. So I always just use one cleanser, the 1970 version of the P50 and Mask Vivant, Dermapurifiant. I was one of those people that recommended pretty much the same method for everyone because always I believe that every skin needs similar things. So this was my story. From the original, there were a lot of reformulations. Only Mask Vivant stays similar to what it was, and I use it from time to time. I still love renewing pack from Valmont because when it's classic, it's classic. You know, it's not a trend, it just delivers. We use that in some of our treatments. We also have biologic research treatments as well at Rescue Spa. From MBR, they are known for like products that $1,500 eye cream and and a liquid surgery serum that is over 2,000. So from time to time, I splurge on a night mask from them. But otherwise, I've been very consistent with DANUCERA and I'm getting the best results because as I'm getting older, I'm realizing my skin is more sensitive and cannot handle as many products at once as it used to.
Interesting. Do you have some cheapo drugstore one weird product that you love that's in your bathroom that, or are you just not that?
I really don't have that, but when I'm in Poland, sometimes I bring a little tin of Nivea cream because it's
Mm.
just sentimental. It's the European version one. Somehow it's made differently. So somehow it's probably lingering somewhere. It never expires. One of
Yes,
those
yes.
products. So
That
somehow
reminds
it's like
me.
somewhere lingers there. And it's something that I grew up with. My mom used Nivea for
My
everything.
grandmother used it and would buy it when she traveled to Europe, and that smell will always remind me of her bathroom and that round little tin on the windowsill next to her sink. Yeah, it's good memories, very good memories. Let's talk about your style. Like, you really are the woman. I mean, you cook, you can make
Yeah.
us look younger, you dress impeccably even when you're in sweatpants driving your car and doing a video. I mean, your home is gorgeous. Like, you really have, I don't know, everything about you is this beautiful design and all works together.
It's the curse of Polish woman. No,
Okay.
I love home, as we said. I love design. I love fashion. I'm definitely a fashion junkie, but I'm always practical. So in design, in fashion, I'm all about the practicality, function, not necessary labels. I like to make my own. And the moment other people start using things, then I'll find something that nobody else has. It's like this watch.
Oh, I'll have to come see that watch.
Custom,
Come
right?
see that watch.
So that's the story. It's my own take on things. But I always think about comfort,
Mm.
timelessness. I hold on to some things, I get rid of other things. I still have my first Hermes that I bought 20 years ago,
Yeah, that's
you
amazing.
know.
That's amazing.
So I will collect few things, usually good quality, but usually comfort.
Yeah, I love watching you on social media. So tell everybody where they can find you on social media because you can watch too if you don't
Yeah.
live in New York, Philadelphia, or Poland, and you can be inspired. And your website has retail, so there's a way to be part of,
Yeah,
your
so
life and the DANUCERA and all the other products. And tell us where we can find you.
obviously in US, New York Rescue Spa and Philadelphia Rescue Spa, Shop Rescue Spa for all of our products and goodies and all things I love. Rescue Spa, social media or mine. And then if you're in Warsaw, is Danucera Polska and danucera.pl.
I hate to break
And
it to you. I don't think I have any listeners in Warsaw, but it would be great if I did. That would
well,
be
people travel to Warsaw. Warsaw is
this
the
is true.
greatest destination to travel, and we all happen to be in the same street as American Embassy. Where
Oh, that's
everything kind of
amazing.
started.
I
So,
forgot to mention that you do have a pretty great travel life, and I love watching that too. But
yeah.
and one last thing, talk about your dogs because they're pretty great. Your dogs, they're Italian Greyhounds, correct?
No, so one is Italian Greyhound, and then I adopted a Weimaraner.
Yes.
So Italian Greyhound's name is Ebery, and then Willow is my Weimaraner, and they are 8 years old, and I have Kitty Sasha, who's 18.
Yeah, they're very
He's been
cute
with
together.
me. He's my longest relationship.
Yeah,
In the last, except
cute.
few of my friends, of course.
So cute. It's so great. I am constantly thinking about how we can work together, and I do believe we will have an event at Rescue Spa by the end of this year where I'm getting my act together. We'll be in touch
Amazing.
because you are so kind to support our work. And, one of the things I love about you is that you have a family with those 180 employees and like you understand that family comes in always. And I love that about
And in
you
different
and your outlook.
in different shapes and forms. And I think we need to think of it as we can build our own families in different ways. It's not always
That's not always according to everybody else's plan. And I love that about you. So thank you so much for
Thank
being here
you.
today. And next, I'll have to have you on about the cooking. Maybe we'll do a live cooking.
You have to come. You have to
I know.
come and visit.
Yeah, I'll be there. Tell me when and where, and I
Yeah.
will be there ready to eat because I'll bring a good bottle of wine to go with the food. 30 Seconds with Becky Fawcett. So one of the things I just said when I was interviewing my friend Danuta from Rescue Spa was talking about coming in, I think, to your beauty, I don't know, whatever point. And I mentioned that for me, it was after my kids came into my life because I would look at my pictures and see that I didn't look great. And that's just my judgment of myself, right? And because something major was missing and I wasn't great. And then when that piece was filled, that void was filled, I saw the peace in my face. And she was talking about taking care of yourself and giving yourself grace. And I think that's really important. However, that's not what I'm talking about. And I've already gone over 30 seconds. So, what I want to talk about is this. As female founders, now she has 180 employees. I have 7, plus I think 6 consultants. But one of the things I've built helpusadopt.org to be this leader in the adoption grant space to build families. I also have built helpusadopt.org as an employer that my employees can count on. And I always tell them at the beginning of the year, my first job is to raise the money that takes care of them and puts a roof over their head. They earn their living working for helpusadopt.org. And it is not something I take lightly. Early on, when I couldn't offer people benefits, that drove me crazy. And then when I was able to get benefits, they were good benefits because that's what people need. You have to make yourself a great place where people want to work and they don't work somewhere they're not taken care of. At least they won't stay. So I think that's really underlooked when you look at female founders and say, what did they build? They built a home for everybody. I think people do appreciate working for me because there's nothing to worry about on how payroll is being made. There's nothing to worry about for any of that stuff. You're secure. And I think that's important. And Danuta feels the same way. So anyway, take it or leave it. 30 Seconds with Becky Fawcett. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Fawcett Report today. I'm so glad you were here. And all I can hope is that you will look at the world a little differently today and possibly use your voice to make a difference. You can follow the Fawcett Report on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And you can message me on Instagram or YouTube. And I actually am the one to respond, but only if you're not mean. I don't do mean. And finally, if you are curious about my advocacy work and family building work at helpusadopt.org, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, as well as through the website. See you next time.